For years now, Serbia has been considered a silent killer at Eurovision. A country that consistently sends something completely out of the box in its own league, a dark horse at the contest.
Penetrated me with...
We always come to expect something totally peculiar out of PZE, the Serbian national final for Eurovision.
You have a lot of interest, girl.
But this year, the national final has been marked by calls for boycott, controversies, and an unprecedented disappointment. And we're going to be unraveling just that today. Hello, hi, вітаю, добре дошли. It's your boy, Goram. Ich Gotem, and welcome back. In today's lovely episode, we're going to be talking about Serbia. Their national final for Eurovision 2025, and their entry for this year's Eurovision, Princ with the song Mila. We will be talking about everything. We will be talking about their national final this year.
Trash and scum.
We'll be talking about the ongoing student demonstrations and protests happening in Serbia and how that political situation has shaped and has affected their national selection.
Oh my gosh.
We'll be talking about which entries should have represented Serbia this year. We'll be talking about who is actually the real winner of PZE 2025. And we're going to be talking about the actual, sadly, winner of their Serbian national final this year. We'll be analyzing the national final, we'll be analyzing Princ's song, the lyrics, the message, the performance, its chances in Eurovision 2025.
There's more? Okay.
And of course, we're going to be ranking it according to our well-trusted and well-established, at this point, Goram special Eurovision formula, which we all love. We all love it, and that is the truth of the matter.
And that is the truth of the matter.
Before doing so, make sure to subscribe. We are a new channel on the Eurovision YouTube scene, and you subscribing and joining the Goram Mental Asylum helps me a lot, and God knows, I need a lot of help.
I'm telling you too much about my personal life, but you get it.
Before we begin, I would like to make a huge shout out to my Serbian friends who have given me a bit of an insight when it comes to the ongoing situation in Serbia. Yeah, without further ado, let's hit things off by talking about Pesma Za Evroviziju.
Okay, Butch.
Or also known as PZE. The national final of Serbia uses every single year to select their entries for Eurovision. I hate to say this because you might already know, but Serbia is one of my arch nemesis. But I really do like Pesma Za Evroviziju almost every single year.
You're joking.
It always manages to have 2 to 4 songs which are fucking incredible in between a dire amount of filler, which we need to get rid of. Who wants that?
Meh.
PZE has gained quite a big popularity over the past decade and is now widely watched and adored by the Serbian public as well as Eurofans.
Girl, you have a lot of interest.
It almost serves as a launchpad for upcoming artists, as it constantly gives platform to upcoming artists that would otherwise be slept on.
I'm an actress.
An example of that can be Constructa in 2022. A relatively underground artist that managed to beat Sarajevo, a prominent and a well-known name in Serbia. Not only beat her, but turned into a well-respected and loved Eurovision legend. Another instance is Luke Black, who was also relatively unknown before his victory at PZE. Whether I like him or not is a different story. Let's not talk too much about that.
Sing along with her? No.
I just love PZE every single year, especially last year's edition. I thought it was great. However, this year's selection was in no way going to be the same as that of last year or the years before that. In November 2024, a series of mass protests began in Novi Sad following the railway station canopy collapse in the city, which left 15 people dead and 2 severely injured. The protests have spread to more than 276 cities and towns in Serbia and are ongoing. The protests are being led by university students who demand accountability, and these demonstrations have been named as one of the biggest political movements in Serbia's history. And despite the protests erupting initially due to the railway station collapse, they have transformed into a fight against the government corruption, the authoritarian nature of the government, political and police brutality and violence, basically the entire governmental apparatus of the Serbian ruling class. And most importantly in our case, media censorship. You might be asking yourself, Goram, why are you putting so much emphasis on media censorship? Here's the sad answer for you. It's because Serbia's public broadcaster, RTS, has been facing huge criticism of complicity with Vucic's government.
You're kidding me.
The media coverage within the country has tried to paint the protesters as violent anarchists. And thus, RTS has been regarded as complicit due to its untruthful and biased news reporting on the protests.
I'm not gonna take this! You cannot do this!
This is obviously very disappointing and, in all honesty, disgusting. But one thing that it isn't is shocking. RTS has had a lengthy history of being seen as a mouthpiece of the government, unfairly reporting on critical stances against the corruption within the country, or just taking order from Vucic and his mates in the government.
Filth! That's what you are! Filth!
There was even a petition signed by nearly 200 RTS employees, accusing them of unprofessional and biased reporting, with many of them deciding to call it a day and leave the organization altogether. Pesma is a show produced and broadcasted by RTS, thus there were widespread calls for the artists, the team working on the show, and for viewers to boycott the national selection, boycott the show, boycott the broadcaster, by not watching it, by not engaging with it, by not voting in it.
Fuck you!
In its last attempt to keep viewers and ratings, it's believed that RTS moved 2 of the broadcasts, semi-final 2 and the final, with a day. So the final would not coincide with the massive demonstration in Niš that was planned on March 1st. This way, the final of Pesma Za Evroviziju was held on the 28th of February.
What a mess!
And while the calls for boycott proved effective and we saw people involved with the national final pulling out altogether,
Do what you want, I'm not doing it.
famously with the resignations from co-host Slaven Došlo and jury member Bujana Vunterišević, this was not the case for the artists in the Pesma lineup. The participants in Pesma had not only spent so much time, energy and resources in trying to win and trying to participate in the national selection, but also, allegedly, a number of artists like Filari and Bieber expressed in advance that they desperately wanted to withdraw from the show and boycott, and would have done so if it weren't for their rigid contracts that envisioned substantial and massive amounts of fees for their potential withdrawal from the lineup at such a late stage. They were basically stuck.
The fuck is happening to this country?
And had to go through with it, even if it wasn't against their personal beliefs and wishes.
It's just an absolute disgrace.
Despite this, loads of artists managed to showcase symbolism in their performances or appearances around the show in support of the protests. For example, Anna and the Changes and the Red Hand movement at the end of the performance, a symbol of the ongoing protests. The purse which Nastasia from Harem Girls had during the interviews following Pesma, which again showcased the red arm. Sedlar, again with the red hand symbolism. Tam showed a phone case during her entrance into the green room in the second semi-final that read, "It is not artistic to remain silent." While announcing their votes in the final, jury member Dragan Đorđević said that students are our strength, future and our intelligence. To which Dragana Kusterina, one of the hosts, said, "Oh no." Yikes. Yikes.
Beyond abysmal.
I mean, come on. If the fact that Teodora, the representative of Serbia in Eurovision 2024, did not choose to go live on stage to pass on the trophy to the winner does not clearly show you how wide the backlash and calls for boycott were, I don't know what will.
I've said what I came to say.
To wrap this segment of the video on a light and funny note,
You silly cunt.
if that wasn't enough controversy, a RTS journalist Olivera Kovacevic announced a lawsuit against the Serbian president Vučić, who accused her of choosing the winner of PZ herself, as well as being a part of a grand speculation against him and trying to kill him. She low-key clocked his BS when she publicly commented on his insane delusions by saying, "We proved that in Serbia, at least for the Eurovision Song Contest, it is possible to vote fairly and that all participants compete under equal conditions. Do you understand this little association?"
It was good, wasn't it? Let's face it.
Mother.
No.
Now that we got this quite important part of the video out of the way, back on the topic of Pesma Za Evroviziju 2025, I usually do not give a whole segment of a video to the songs we lost in the national final. I normally just give a quick shout out and move on.
You're a slag and a liar.
But in this video, on this special occasion, we're going to be giving the least amount of attention to the actual winner, because I low-key don't want to talk about him all that much.
I haven't got it in me, I'm exhausted.
But also because if it wasn't for the rigged nature of this national final, one of the 4 talented entries I'm about to talk about would have rightfully and honorably represented Serbia at the contest.
I can't believe we're having this conversation.
If the word corruption was a country, it would be Serbia. Like, I swear to God. We're going to be talking about the best performances of the national final, because there were some I would have loved to see on the Eurovision stage this year, starting from my favorite one before the shows to my winner and the overall true winner of PZE this year.
I can't wait to find out.
First, before we start, a little shout out to Vukayla with her song Mask. This song was so not on my radar, but damn, can this girl sing. She is a newcomer in the Serbian music industry, but her other songs are not bad at all either. Her back catalog, despite being small, is honestly quite good.
I like it.
She's also a student at Berklee College of Music, just like Theodora, and I'm sure she will have huge success in the future, and I sincerely hope she enters PZ again very, very soon, as I see a huge potential in her.
I'd really like to stay around for quite a long time.
Now, to hit things off, we're going to be first talking about my pre-show favorite, Mimi Mercedez, with her song Turbo Žurka. Okay, so this song was well ahead of the competition. Not only did it have the most streams and views prior to the show, but also our girl Mimi is the biggest name from the entire lineup. Mimi is one of, if not the, most prominent female rappers in Serbia.
All around the towns and everything.
I personally love the song, as it is very, very catchy and unapologetically Balkan. And the whole yes, da, kiss,
Servant can't.
makes the song super memorable, and it's honestly a great hook. It showcases patriotism through party culture.
This is disgusting.
It mentions Belgrade, the city that is considered the party capital in the Balkans. The song is about partying and celebrating life, which is, of course, not the most original message and lyricism in the whole world. I choose to ignore that. And honestly, the song does not rely on the message, it relies on the sound of the song.
Beyond abysmal.
I just love the song, and honestly, I love her. I really have a lot of time for her. When I heard the song for the first time, I was so overstimulated that I tweeted, oh, this stupid ass tweet, the drag queen ass name, the ketamine-induced structure, the nastiest Balkan sound, the god-awful AI cover. I don't know if I saw Jesus or if I'm in hell. And I think that honestly sums up perfectly my initial thoughts about the song, and maybe my thoughts about it now as well after seeing the live performance. I was honestly so excited to see this live, as I have been streaming this non-stop ever since it dropped, but the live kind of let me down, not gonna lie. I don't know if she was again trolling just like she did with that stupid ass performance with that guitar.
Kiss, kiss, nego, mwah, mwah, mwah. Priča se širi more mi po kontinentu. Da ovde
The visuals were horrid. The staging was horrid. Especially that outfit. What the hell?
Fishnet stockings, bodysuit is
Literally, if a cheerleader costume was made by a colorblind designer, it would have been that. Because why the fuck is it gray?
Talk about something different.
And I think the performance cost her the win, in all honesty. I saw some people complaining and whining about how they wanted her to serve Manija realness. Girl, Manija where? This is so not Manija. This is just a turbo folk song. This is just a turbo folk song. How is she supposed to serve Manija to this?
You don't know anything.
Moving on to my personal favorite and my winner of PZE this year overall, it's Tam with her song Durum Durum. There is one word that perfectly sums up both the song and her and the staging and the performance: ethereal. Absolutely urethral. God is real, and she's a Serbian woman singing about weed.
Folks, look on your computers.
It has that ethnic feel embedded into the core of the song. It's almost primitive and ancient. This is because the central aspect and topic of the song, the durum, aka weed, Tam was heavily inspired by the old history of the Serbs, more specifically of the starting point of the settlements of the first Serbs on the Serbian lands, aka when they started growing weed, which made them connected directly to the earth, and a specific place, which led them to start building villages and first communities.
It's like a beautiful broth that is just full of richness.
As before that point, they were nomads, constantly moving from one place to another.
All around the towns and everything.
The lyrics are just so beautiful. So is the melody. Most importantly,
This is taking me to the imperial heights of my inner realm.
the girl knows how to elevate. In the span of a day, she listened to the critiques of everyone and got rid of that horrid wig she had on during Semi 2. And also the outfit, and most shockingly, managed to move away from that shyness and that staticness she exuded in the first performance to being more confident, having more movement, playing a little bit more with the camera in the final, which shows that she does not have this overinflated ego and she actually wants to improve, she actually wants to do better, and I value that tremendously in artists. Personally, to me, this was the runaway winner, and I'm so sad she was not even close to winning. I find that shocking. She's such an angel. Please come back. Last but definitely not least, the real winners and stars of the show, Harem Girls, with the song Aladdin. Listen, let me tell you why these queens were the real winners of the show.
I can't wait to find out.
First of all, their aim was not even winning Pesma. Their ultimate goal and motivation to take part of the national final was to represent the drag community in the Balkans. Love to see it. And they achieved that. Everyone was talking about them and their song. They managed to not only showcase a good, well put together package, people that appreciated my package, for that limited stage and budget and opportunities they had. Most importantly, they managed to push drag into the mainstream in Serbia. Let's not forget that Serbia is a deeply conservative country where being queer is something frowned upon.
And you can also get some... What was that?
Let alone drag. Let alone drag. Not only do people not understand what drag is, but also it's a big taboo. They were the first drag queens to ever participate in Serbia's national final. And they did a flawless job representing their community.
I really like this. And I really like it.
You might be asking yourself, if Serbia is so conservative, how did this even manage to make it through to the PZE lineup? Well, let me tell you something. As with almost all broadcasters, RTS has different wings, and the ones responsible for PZE is the entertainment branch of the broadcaster, not the news and media one, which has been under fire for its affiliation with the government.
I'm nodding like I understand, but I'm not so sure I do.
This is why we have been seeing so much queer representation in Pesma Za Evroviziju in the past couple of years.
Okay, Butch.
And this year, one of them almost won, despite the fact that socially Serbia has remained deeply conservative when LGBT matters are concerned. They managed to earn tens of thousands of fans. So much people were behind them. They generated such insane hype and media attention and brought drag to the mainstream in Serbia. And for that, they are the real winners of PZ this year.
And that is the truth of the matter.
And to be fair, if it wasn't for the alleged Nepo baby Bojana and her rich daddy who most definitely rigged this for her by organizing people to go to his hotel and vote en masse for her, they might have been able to win.
Fuck this shit!
If there were no calls for boycotts, if there were no demonstrations on the streets mainly held and attended by young people, and more young people tuned in and voted for them, they might have been able to win, which is very unfortunate, but we have to respect that. We can only speculate what could have happened if the circumstances were different this year. But for now, all we can do and all we should do is be happy for the girls and congratulate them. I mean, come on, they were first in trending in YouTube in Serbia, and somehow they didn't even win the televote. Bullshit, Vivian, bullshit.
Bullshit, Vivian. And I know exactly, but I've seen shit.
I'm just gonna be frank with you for a second. I have seen some of you guys trying to share and sign these petitions to RTS, trying to disqualify Princ and make Harem Girls the representatives of Serbia at Eurovision 2025. This will not work. It won't work. Stop trying. First of all, Princ has probably already signed the contract, if there even is one to sign. And second, do you all seriously think that the Serbian broadcaster that works for the Vučić government would honestly disqualify a bland-ass man with muscles singing a snooze fest of a ballad about a woman and instead send a group of 6 drag queens strutting around who are not only representatives of the evil and morally corrupt LGBT Western Sorosoid ideology that is utterly incompatible with the villager trad pure mentality of the Christian Balkans, but who are also vocal in their support for the student protesters and have outwardly said that they will be taking part in the demonstrations. Do you all seriously think they're gonna do that?
I don't think.
I mean, come on, sometimes we have to take a step back and be realistic. Let's be real. We're talking about Serbia here, not the Netherlands.
Listen, boo, you can shake your head all you want.
And this is not happening. Lastly, I just want to briefly touch upon an aspect of the performance which I fucking love. The drag queen, the queen in the blue, doing nothing but literally saying 2 lines and then just strutting back and forth and just feeling her old cracked me the fuck up. The genie is gone, it's time to switch. We broke the chains. We're denied, bitch.
I was good, wasn't it? Let's face it.
I love that.
Just as sweet as St. Lucia.
I'm not judging. I ate that shit up. I'm just honestly gonna miss them so much. I would have loved for them to be the representatives of Serbia. That would have been a great statement and a great thing to see. And honestly, the song is crack, they're crack. They were honestly just all together crack, and I love them.
Beyond abysmal.
I want to film a video with them. I want to film a video with them immediately.
Because I'm ready to tune in, boo.
To sum up my thoughts on the lineup this year, yeah, there were a lot of bland songs, but this is the case with PZ every single year.
And that is the truth of the matter.
But the fact that I was rooting and I was just so into 4 whole songs out of this national selection just showcases that we had great artists and entries in the national final this year. And sadly, the public in Serbia did not appreciate that at all. Now, sadly, we have to talk about the actual winner of PZ 2025. Why do I do this to myself? So, the winner with 10 points from the jury and 8 points from the televote, despite having 610 streams the day before the final, was Princ. With his dire ballad, Mila. Oh, Mila, oh. This is gonna be the end of me, this video.
Not doing it, okay?
If the awful song was not enough, now we have to deal with his nasty personality as well. Homeboy, you ain't fooling no one. We all know about the racist jokes about Asians.
You're a nasty bitch of a girl.
And we're not gonna let that slide. We're not gonna let that slide. Like, enough of the damn racists at Eurovision this year. What the fuck is happening?
What the fuck is happening to this country?
Like, obviously, I'm utterly annoyed and frustrated that this one, but trust me, I'm trying to keep my composure, which is taking enormous restraint and efforts on my part.
Lord help me, please hold my tongue. Don't let me say no bad words.
So stick with me. Let's start analyzing this package by talking about the musical aspect of the song. So obviously this guy can sing.
Wasn't pitch perfect, darling.
But that's about it sonically. Can he belt? Yeah, but this ain't the Voice Bulgaria, which he also tried to infiltrate. I mean, all around the towns and everything, I guess, and this is not a compliment. This ain't X Factor. This is the Eurovision Song Contest. Emphasis on song.
Song contest. Emphasis on song.
And the song is just baffling. It just has that awful 2012 feel. So dated.
Old maiden type of shoes.
And the only adequate part of the song is towards the end. And at that point, the viewer is long gone into the land of snooze and dreams. Like, up until we reach that like moment, the key moment of the song, the viewer is already taking a piss or smoking a cigarette outside. Like, nobody's waiting for that moment.
And that is the truth of the matter.
Anyways, now moving on to something that I am infamous for on here, hyperfixating and overanalyzing the lyrics of each and every Eurovision song. And oh boy, my verdict, it's gonna be short and sweet here. Cliché. That's the word that sums up the lyrical content of the lyrics. Cliché.
I'm out.
Yes, there are some okay-ish lyrics like "Dear, you paid the price of me loving you," "Dear, you brought back a life from the edge," and "This life is without grains of sugar." Yeah, but beyond that, it's really lackluster, bordering on dreary.
This was boring. It was really boring. It was really, really boring.
It's a boring Balkan ballad, dated at that, about the love of this boring man's life and how he would go above and beyond to do anything for her, and that she gives meaning to his boring, testosterone-driven existence. Moved at all. Clearly, it's not something that touches me, and I will not tolerate mediocrity on here, so there's that.
I am out.
Time to talk about the performance. Yeah, this ain't it, Chief. Really ain't.
You're kidding me.
I'm sorry, but it's such high school musical type of production. The big moon prop, the tacky rolls moments in the beginning and the end of the performance, the face projection on the stage, scrap all of it. It's so bland and so outdated. Come on, it's 2025, Jesus Christ. I hate this super macho BS he tries to exude in the performance. We get it, you're straight, and you be entering every room with the energy that you build it.
Obviously, this is a heterosexual package.
You cannot impress me with that at all.
Okay, I just...
The subject matter of the song, the way he moves during the performance, the way he talks, the vibe he gives off, it's all very unbearable to me. I get this awful whiff of Axe body spray whenever I hear the song and watch this performance, and I'm not gonna apologize for feeling this type of way. I'm obviously not the target audience for this, we've been new, but we gotta be realistic and tell it how it is. This performance is nothing. This song is nothing. Matter of fact, I don't even know if the Serbian delegation should put any resources into trying to fix this, because it's beyond salvageable to me. Just take the year off and do better in 2026. That would be my advice for RTS and the Serbian delegation. Prediction time. Let's tune into our Baba Vanka realness, the Bulgarian mystic Baba Vanka. That is me. She was an alcoholic, by the way. Again, me. The only audience I can see caring for this is the wine moms stumbling upon Semi 2 on TV.
It's the old people voting in Denmark.
I mean, Serbia is in Semi 2, which is the bloodbath one, and it was going to be tough to qualify with an okay song, let alone a mid-ballad like this. Like, Serbia does not even have the neighbors to back them up. They can only rely on Montenegro and maybe Greece. And I don't think that the Serbian diaspora will pull up and save this from ending up in the Kyiv asylum at all. It's not even the best ballad out of the pack. We have Greece, we have Montenegro. Both of them are better than this.
Does this song need to be heard? I'm not so sure.
We have probably Czechia, which is also gonna be better than this. It's just gonna fade into nothing. Nobody will remember this. Sorry, I just don't see a world where this qualifies. Of course, there always will be a slight chance that this makes the final just because Eurovision can be wildly unpredictable at times. But for now, to me, in my honest vision, this is getting 13th in the semi, and that's it.
I've said what I came to say.
We have reached the point where we are going to be ranking the song according to the Gotham Special Eurovision formula. If you don't know what that is, go over to my other videos, you will see what I'm talking about. But just in case, let me give you an overview of what the criteria is. We have message, we have lyrics, we have musical value, we have originality and authenticity, potential, and last but not least, the Jon Olesen wow factor, the most important one.
I love that!
No, I love it.
So let's just get into this, let's just drag this. Message, 2 out of 10. Lyrics, 3 out of 10. Musical value, 2.5 out of 10. Originality and authenticity, 1 out of 10. Potential, 3 out of 10, just because of the wine moms that might be in like the Balkan people that might identify sadly with this bullshit of a song. And last least, the Jon Olesen wow factor, 2 out of 10. This is so no, there's just no wow factor in this. There's just nothing in this. With the combined average of 2.25 out of 10. Oh my god, this is awful.
This is the worst song she's ever put out.
This might be the lowest ranking I'm gonna be giving to a song this year. I mean, never say never, but this is pretty low. This is all very disappointing. I'm very sorry to the Serbian people that did not want this to win.
My prayers are going to start now.
We're just gonna be having to deal with that reality, sadly, for the next 2 months. Okay, to wrap this whole thing up, the final verdict of the International Court of Justice, more specifically Judge Goram, in the case of Princ and RTS corporations versus Eurovision 2025, is that this is a masterclass in how political unrest within a country can have a huge impact in their Eurovision entry selection process, in how not monitoring and safeguarding fairness within the national final and putting in protections on people trying to rig the results can heavily influence and damage the selection process, and how to destroy your Eurovision chances.
And that is the truth of the matter.
This was a very salty video, but I think this will resonate not only with other Euro fans, but the Serbian public. Pesma Za Evroviziju 2025 had such great performers and entries within their lineup that could have stood a solid chance of obtaining a satisfactory result at the contest, only for a mid-song to take it all.
I shouldn't get this angry.
Honestly, the downfall of the Balkans at this year's Eurovision should be studied, and by studied, I mean me discussing it in a future video, so stay tuned for that. And that is a perfect segue into wrapping up today's lovely and very hateful and salty episode of ours. Thank you so much for joining me. I know you guys think I'm a bitch and a nasty human being, and I was just that today.
Can't you ever have a friendly evening? Can you not do that?
And if you want to see more of that, more of me being a cunt, make sure to subscribe. The Gotham Mental Asylum is growing with each day passing, and I would love for you to be a part of that. We have a lot of fun here, we discuss everything, we talk about everything Eurovision, we drag everything and everyone, and I think you would have a great time here, if you're a masochist. But yeah, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, and you can also, of course, follow me on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, where I'm very active. You can also follow me on Instagram, where it's a little more personal, a little bit of an insight into Godom's life outside of Eurovision, outside this chaos of a mess and a contest. Of course, it was your boy, Godom. It was my pleasure to have you around this time, and see you all very soon.